Hey there, it's Steve Horn with Short Sales Done Easy, your Phoenix short sales specialist. Got a new face in here, not new to our world. He's our negotiator. This is Shawn, and he's the one that is responsible for getting all of our short sales done when we need to get them done. Still don't know if you can see me. At any rate, I'm going to ask Shawn some questions in regards to the Heloc. Many of you are scared to do a short sale with the Heloc, and I want to discuss some of the myths and answer some of the questions that most of our clients have. So first of all, Shawn, can you short sale a house with a Heloc?
Yes, 100% yes, definitely you can.
Okay, and describe the difference between just a regular second purchase money loan and versus a Heloc.
All right. Well, Heloc just stands for home equity line of credit, and so what that's going to do differently than a traditional second mortgage. A lot of times there were the 80-20 mortgages, and so you had a junior lien. And with the home equity line of credit, that's different because they do have the ability to actually go after the deficiency.
So it can be like a credit card.
So it's more like a credit card. That's what. Yes, exactly.
Right.
So it's like a revolving debt instead of a traditional set mortgage amount.
Right. And what challenges do you see from the home equity line of credit versus just a normal second?
Well, typically with the normal second, because they don't really have any authority to come after the homeowner once the first agrees to do the short sale, most of those seconds will just roll over. They'll take the $3,000 and they'll accept it. With a home equity line of credit, because they have more leverage, more power, they're not going to give up so easily. And so if you owe $50,000 on a home equity line of credit, they're going to look to get about 10 to 15% back.
Right.
And so what you've got to realize is that you're going to be offering them anywhere from $500 to $7,500 just to settle the debt. If
you've got, let's say, a $10,000 or $15,000, or well, actually, it'd be more than that. If you have, a $50,000 home equity line of credit, which is pretty standard with most of our clients, you may need to settle, close to 10%, so $500 to $7,500.
Yeah. Now,
do you do that while the short sale is taking place, or do you do that after the short sale is settled?
You can do it. There are some banks that will do it up front, and they will release you of the deficiency. The number one thing is, though, they're going to want you to come in with that dollar amount up front in order to release you from the deficiency.
Right. So they're going to want you to share in that deficiency.
That's right. They're going to accept. Normally, you can get the first lien holder to offer $3,000 towards their debt. But the difference between what they're trying to get from you and how much the first offers you is typically something that the seller would offer, or sometimes the buyer would offer, in order to get that lien released so that we can close and move forward with the sale.
And let's reiterate this: every bank is different on how they follow their processes as it relates to a Heloc.
Exactly.
So what happens if you say, I've got a Heloc and I just am going to let that Heloc go to foreclosure? I'm just going to give up, because if it's a line of credit and they're going to treat it like a credit card, why wouldn't I just foreclose on that property?
Because they do have the right, and where we are a non-deficiency state here in Arizona. And so with a foreclosure, if you let it go to foreclosure, typically with a second lien holder, they can't come after you. They can put a judgment against you, but they can never act on that judgment. They can never garnish your wages. With a home equity line of credit, they do have the ability to go to the courts and get a judgment against you, and to actually collect on that deficiency, to garnish your wages. So it's not something that you can just forget about and walk away from a Heloc, because there are certain consequences if you were to ignore the debt that you owe to that company.
Right. And so the benefit of doing a short sale with a Heloc is the first is going to give them money.
Correct.
I mean, the first is going to give them,
$3,000.
say $3,000, and if you were to foreclose, let's say you owed $50,000 on the Heloc, at least you're giving the Heloc $3,000. That's $3,000 less than you'd have to give them if it forecloses.
Exactly, and there are companies out there that you can go to them if you have a HELOC, and they will actually release the lien against the property. Yeah. But that doesn't mean they'll release the deficiency.
Right.
But because you're giving them $3,000 from the first lien holder,
right, then
they will actually go ahead and they'll release that lien, and then that's some terms that you can come to them afterwards and try to work out a payment schedule, and different options like that. They don't really do promissory notes for home equity line of credits, but they will do a payment plan or let you settle as long as you. But they won't release you from that deficiency if you're not going to typically bring some money in to help out or get the buyer to bring money in to help out.
Right. So what we've learned today is that it is better to, in most cases, do a short sale with a HELOC versus a foreclosure, because the bank is going to get some money and something is better than nothing. And if that something is out of their pocket, not yours, that's a win in our book. We have also covered that each bank is completely different on how they handle the HELOCs.
Yes.
And we also know that a short sale is definitely better than a foreclosure in 90%, let's say, of the cases out there. So once again, thanks, Shawn, for helping us out with these HELOC questions.
No problem.
Shawn is continuing to close 10 plus short sales a month. And remember, here at Short Sales Done Easy, we do make short sales done easy.